Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's broadcast of Water, Wind, Wine Ministries. Today I wanted to talk to you about hypocrisy, specifically how to know if you are a hypocrite or how to identify a hypocrite. And I think that when I say something like that, I think the propensity for people is to say, oh yeah, I need this because my neighbor, they're a hypocrite. And typically when people say that, it's usually them that's the hypocrite or whatever. But this is a really interesting thing. You know, I haven't thought about this in a long time, but my husband sent me a verse this morning from Job chapter 36, verse 14. And it talks about hypocrisy. And this is a really interesting verse because if you take what I'm about to tell you about this verse and you apply it to Jesus, you know, getting after the Pharisees, the only people that he really was hard on were the religious leaders of the time, and he called them hypocrites all the time. And so the Bible will define itself, and it does so in this case as well. So in Job chapter 36, verse 14, it talks about the hypocrites store up wrath in their hearts. And I'm going to change hands really quick because this gets sore really quick. But hypocrites will do this thing where they make you think that they like you or that you're okay or what you're doing is okay, and they don't actually say anything to your face, but then they store up wrath against you, their little judgmental stuff in their hearts against you, and then that's how you know that somebody is hypocritical. And you kind of know this organically, you know, you kind of feel judged, you feel criticized, maybe even if you can't put your finger on it. But what you're actually feeling, whether you're doing it or whether somebody else is doing it, is this hypocrisy. The hypocrites store up wrath in their heart, I mean, they don't say what they think. Now, I think that from a person who does say what they think, I think that you have to say what you think with tact and with love and with the proper motivation and the proper heart stance, but you definitely have to say what you think and what is the truth. Because if you don't, you're hypocritical. You're storing up wrath, hatred in your heart toward another person because of something they're doing or saying or whatever. And if you don't tell them that, then you become a hypocrite. And people know when you're a hypocrite. I mean, you've known hypocrites in your life, and you really can't put your finger on why they're hypocritical, but you know that they are hypocritical. I think another thing that, I'm going to change hands again. Another thing that happens is people think that hypocrites are like a person who tells somebody to stop drinking and then they themselves go and drink. And I think that is definitely hypocritical. But I don't think that it goes near deep enough. I think that's pretty obviously hypocritical, but I don't think it goes near deep enough to really root that out. Because what happens is, like me, I used to cuss like a sailor. And I don't cuss anymore. And what I've done essentially is I've removed the cussing plank from my eye. So it's perfectly acceptable according to the Bible for me to help somebody who cusses a little bit to remove that from their lives, to remove that splinter from their eye, as it were. And so I think that a lot of people, they do this thing with hypocrisy. They say, well, you know, Wednesday, you can't tell me not to cuss because you used to cuss like a sailor. Yeah, but I used to. I got delivered. I removed the plank from my eye. So I'm actually no longer a hypocrite. And I think that that's where a lot of people miss the definition of a hypocrite. They think that if you have ever been guilty of something, then you have no right to tell somebody else not to do that thing. Well, what if you have been guilty of it and you've been delivered, like the Lord has gotten you out of that, and you no longer act like that? Then you're not a hypocrite. You're just somebody who's learned, and you're sharing that knowledge. A hypocrite, beloved, is somebody who stores up wrath in their hearts toward other people. And so when you think about Jesus saying to the Pharisees, you know, brood of vipers, you hypocrites, he's saying that they're storing up wrath in their heart toward other people. And that's exactly right. That's exactly what they're doing. And if there's one thing Jesus doesn't like, it is hypocrites. There are a lot of things he doesn't like, but one of the things is hypocrisy. And when you are judgy like that, when you're critical like that, but then, you know, you don't share that with that other person and say, hey, listen, you know, I don't love that you do this because this is really bad for me, or this is really bad for you, or this is really bad for whatever, then but you're happy to hold that in your heart and hold it against that person without giving them the honor of knowing that, then you are hypocritical. So I hope this has helped you. Remember that I love you and that Jesus loves you.